So I'll show now how to make the like simple tree object and how to rig that and how to make a ground, stuff like that. And also maybe how to put some sort of background, uh, like a like a sky that is not just a color in Blender. So let's go into Blender then. So first I don't know if I want to save this scene that I made, but maybe I'll save it as test. And then let's create a new file from the start. And I think I'm going to use this cube in order to make my tree. So I'll change the shape of the cube first. I'm starting it from the trunk, and it's going to be a fir tree or a spruce, in other words. So S for scaling it. Yep. So I'm first going to do the big shapes and then the smaller shapes after that. However, I want to make the bottom a little bit fatter. Okay, so this will be my tree trunk. And I'll stay in the edit mode because I want to extrude from here. So I click E and enter, and then S for making it bigger. Oops, not that big. Maybe this is a good size. Could be bigger. Yeah, why not? Then I'll extrude again, and this time it's giving me the axis, the z-axis right away. So I'm just going to raise it. Make it smaller, and I think you can see my idea here already. What's it going to be like? Extrude again and make it bigger. Extrude, raise it up, make it smaller with S. And maybe raise it a little bit up. I could also raise it just with keyboard commands, like moving. The command for moving things is G. So I could say, click on my keyboard G and Z, and now I get the Z or Z axis. Yeah, I think I like that one. And then again, extrude and S. And extrude, and up we go. And I think 3 segments are enough for this tree. And S. And now make it quite small. Yeah. So a very simple spruce. Nothing fancy. However, yeah, maybe I do want to be a little bit fancy. So let's give it a bit more geometry, because that's also needed in order to make any sorts of, well, rigging, as you already know. So I'll start with the adding of geometry with simple loop cuts. So I'll click Control and R for making the first loop cut. So I think 2 loop cuts might be good here. Yep. Or I might have just, yeah, let's go one step back and try out if, so I click A to select all in the edit mode. And here I go to edges, edge and subdivide. So let's see what I can get from there. Yeah, also not bad. Yeah, 2 subdivision levels might be good for now. I'm going to put it up, add it up at some point, but not now. Now I want to make some simple adjustments to the shape of the tree. So I want to select this edge loop over here. Those of you who know how to use Blender, you know that it's that you click first option down, and then I was in the face select mode, sorry. So edge select mode, what I need, and I click down option and click on the edge, and now it gives me the whole edge loop to work with. And now I can click just S to do a simple shaping. Yeah, that looks a tiny bit more stylish. So let's option click this edge loop as well. See if I can, yeah, why not? Option click this. Same with this. And this one. So now it's a tiny bit bell-shaped. Looking a little bit more stylish than before. Okay, maybe also color. I told you that earlier that I'm quite a that colors are important to me, but now I've been working without them. So what I want is that there is a different material for the trunk and a different one for the rest. So I'm doing that with simple vertex color, because these trees are not going to leave Blender. So let's go to wireframe, and I will take the select mode and select. Okay, let's go also to the front view. So it's easier to select things like this. So I'll select everything over here. And now I can check that everything indeed has been selected. Great. And for good measure, I'll save this as a vertex group. Maybe I'll need it later. maybe not. Sign. What should I call this? Tree. Okay. Now I'm going to the rendered mode, and let's give this. There is already a material, yes, and I want to make it green. And now everything is green. So what I actually need is to select the trunk, and I'll just do that by boom boom. Where was it? Select and invert. So I could have just clicked Command and I. Okay. So now I need to create a new material here, add a material slot, and assign. So first I'll make it into something brownish. Like the weird thing about many trees in Finland is that the trunks of the trees uh, are actual brown, unless it's a like birch. In many other countries, tree trunks are mostly grayish, but at least with spruces, you know that the trunk is usually brown. So I'll assign this material to these vertices. And now if I go away from edit mode, I should be seeing it happened. Yes. Okay. And I'll save this as spruce test. Kuusikko. And by the way, no trees are this shiny usually. Well, sometimes they are if they are very wet or something. But anyway, I'll make the shininess a little bit less here, taking off the specularity, the IOR level. Okay, so before I go to the settings of the whole world, I need to do a little bit more work with my with the spruce, and also give it some well, rigging. But for now, have the tendency to make like these copies or duplicates of my meshes while I'm working on them. So now, right now, I'm calling this kuusi because that's spruce in Finnish. So shorter than spruce. And I'll make a duplicate of this in case I mess up with the original. Okay, so this spruce needs more geometry in order for the rig to work. Also, I'm thinking now that it's a kind of flat, so let's make it a little bit taller. Okay, I think I like it better this way. Okay, let's go back for now in the solid mode. And what I need is, yes, I said that already, that I need more geometry. So let's see if I can get that from a modifier. So here's multi-resolution modifier, which usually is quite nice, but I need to click here on the subdivide for this to work out. Okay. Yeah, not bad. It usually makes the object a little bit smaller than what it was. The more we have subdivisions. So maybe 3 subdivisions. That'd be a bit much, but has a nice soft feel to it. So also I changed the shading to smooth. So yeah, why not? I can work with this one. And but if I'm so this time I'm going to also render the multi-resolution modifier, because otherwise the rigging, the bones won't have any effect. So here I click apply, and now if I go to the wireframe mode, there's a lot of geometry here. Also in the edit mode, I can see that there's a lot of it. Okay, but anyway, when I make the rig and bend the spruce, then it should look quite smoother than the previous example. So I'll create the bones now, just like I did with the previous ones. Go to with Shift A and create the first single bone there. And then I go to the data and change in the viewport display that the bones are always in the front. Also, I want to have the front view. Oh, by the way, the old tree is there, or the duplicate. I don't want to see that one right now. So I'll make that invisible. Here we go. And I need to go a little bit closer to see what I'm doing. I don't want to bend the trunk, by the way. So I'll just go to edit mode and here, move the first bone to up here, and then extrude the next bone by clicking E and Shift, and then going further. And again, E and not Shift, sorry, E and Enter. Now it was too big. Far too big. Wow. This should be better. E and Enter. There we go. And because the spruce is quite a simple object, this simple rigging should work out well. However, if I had a tree with like several branches, then I would have to put a bone to each of the branches. And that's why in the task it says a simplified tree. Okay, so then the bones have been made, and I think I'll call them here tree bones. And then back to object mode. Then I'll first click on the object that I want to attach to the bones, and then I shift click the bones themselves and right click parent with automatic weights. This should do the trick. And let's go see if it happened. So I click on the tree bones. Everything looks fine over here. So the object is now inside the bones. So sometimes it happens that I'm careless and do this the wrong way, and then you will see that the bones are actually parented to the object, and that won't work out at all. Then you have to go back and redo the things. Anyway, so right now I'm going to the pose mode to test out how this has worked. So let's rotate the object. Yeah, it looks quite smooth how it bends. Yeah, I like it. Rotate. Yeah, it has some sort of funny quality. Maybe a snowman could be made like that as well. Okay, so now I need a ground and maybe and more lights, and then I can start duplicating my object and making it move a little bit. And I said we'd be ready by 11:30. See if I can do all that by then. I'm a little bit doubtful right now about it. But anyway, you should know already how to move these the objects. Okay. So I'm getting out of pose mode now, and I'll create the plane for the mesh. And this time I won't make this photograph as background. I'm making like a big ground. 200 meters. Let's go see it from up. Yeah, it's just about enough, let's say. Okay, let's see top. There we've got it. And at this point, I'm going to save this. So this plane needs more geometry to play with so that it's less boring. Also, it will need a material. I'll do that after the geometry. So off to edit mode. And now I'm going to do subdivisions, just like I did earlier. So here's the subdivisions option, and I'll just write 30 there and see how much I get. Yeah, why not? So let's compare it with 25. Yeah, maybe if I use a modifier to soften it a little bit, could I get off with even 20? Perhaps. I'm thinking of making these snowy hills. And as long as I'm doing these, I could, and I'm in the subdivision options, I could just do a little bit of playing with the fractal number to make it already a little bit hilly, not hilly-billy. There we go. So yeah, why not? So be careful, by the way, with the fractal. If you put it too far, then weird things will start happening, like things like this. So, and now the fractal number is not even very high. So I go back to the what I had in the original, like 100, 200. Yes, I can also change the seed to make it go differently. 160 is already quite big, so I'll keep it to 100. Yep. By the way, when you're doing subdivisions, the smoothness factor, for instance, if you have created a cube and you're subdividing it, um, if you set smoothness up, then you're going to get a ball instead of a cube. I know people who rather make those instead of using the spheres that Blender gives you. Okay, so go for a while away from edit mode and add like a multi-resolution modifier to make it look a little bit smoother, although this is not real geometry yet. And also let it shade smooth, but I want to have some hills here still. So let's go back to edit mode, and now everything is selected. So I want to select just a few of these. So I'll use C for the brush selection mode, so that we can just select by painting vertices. There are many ways of selecting stuff in Blender, just like there are in Photoshop. Okay, I'll try to be yes. There is, by the way, also like a selection randomization in Blender. You can find it under the select menu, but here I'm trying to select semi-random clumps or clusters, which I will then raise to hills. So in order to get away from this selection mode, by the way, you can use your mid mouse button to make this bigger or smaller. or if you have on your laptop emulated the 3-point mouse, then you can do it on your trackpad. That's what I'm doing actually. So to get out of this mode, you need to click Enter. Then I'm going to raise these, but I don't want to raise them too hard. I want to have some smoothing. So I click on proportional editing here, and then I need to press G, and then use the mid button to make this proportional editing selection really big. Okay, and I click once, and now I can just raise them by clicking G and Z. So now it's making these soft hills. And the bigger or smaller this is, so you see the effect here for how it raises things. Okay, but I think I'm happy with these slight hills. Finnish landscape tends to have small hills until you go and find a ridge, and then the hill isn't small, or at least not slight. As you probably know, if you have taken like a bicycle to Mediapolis through Pispala. Anyway, so now I have my world with the hills all set up. And let's click away proportional editing for now, and I'll go away from edit mode and into my world. And it's time to do something with those colors and materials and lights. So it all looks pretty drab now. So this will get a slight blue tinge, and I want so one other way to get like a big light for your scene is to change your one of your lights into a sun, and then put it into like a ridiculously small number, like 3. The sunlight is white, yes, usually what we see, although I think the sun has been classified as a yellow star. But this is not necessarily our Earth. So as this is the sun, then when I change the angle, the whole world is affected, no matter where this light is. As you can see. Okay, I duplicate this light and make it something else than the sun. Maybe just a point light. Well, 3 watts isn't helping me. 2000 is better. And this one will be the lighting from the tree, which I will also duplicate, by the way. Yeah, I think I'll make a new collection for the trees, which I will call imaginatively trees. So in order to duplicate this, I need to duplicate both the mesh and the bones. Don't ask why. I think it's not very handy. Okay, Shift and D for duplication, and then I move it somewhere. So that now there's tree bones 001, which I will just call 42 and move it into the collection of trees. And I think I'll move my original tree bones there as well. And make Shift D with another copy of it. And now I can make them also a little bit different from each other. If I just have the bone selected and I scale it a little bit, and the mesh will follow. Okay. It's good to have a bit of variation there. They don't look like direct copies of each other. Variation with them. And by the way, this in this way you can also put like stretch and squash to your uh, to the trees that you animate. Okay, I'll add now some more light to the world. And more lights to the scene itself too. More light to the world. Okay. And I'll go to shading now and make a nice background. Instead of object, to have the world. So yes, now I can see the drab background there. Where are my world settings? There they are. So this is what I did earlier. I just changed the color of the world in general, and this could be also can be also animated, as I also mentioned. But in the introduction to visual design, I think I showed people how to change the background color or background texture, I mean. So I'll show that quickly here as well. So here I can also use the Shift A to have new stuff here. I could use the sky texture, yes, but that's not actually what I'm after now. I want to have the environment texture because I want to import an image here. So first I need to open that image. And let's see, I think I have them in downloads. there are HDR images even in Adobe stock images, so I've downloaded some of those. Also, there is a place called HDR Haven, not Heaven. Let's see where it is. HDRI Haven, yes. Or actually, these days it's called Polyhaven. Anyway, this is one place where you can find well, 360 backgrounds. Maybe I can find stars. Yeah, there are some of them. Sunrise, contrast, morning, afternoon. Yeah, so this is one place where you can go for these images. Would you? So here, if I put this to here, then I can see the this universe picture everywhere around. Also, I could add by click N to get this window up. I have this thing add-on called Node Wrangler, so I'll just click Add Texture Setup. So I have these two windows, mapping and texture coordinate, which can be also added from here. I can find them here from mapping and texture coordinate, but this is just a shortcut. Okay, so this gives me the opportunity to, for instance, rotate this image around. And I could do this, for instance, I could animate this because almost everything can be animated here. So now it looks a little bit more interesting, maybe. Okay, and the next thing I need to do here is, well, to save it, yes, and to start the actual animation or animating the trees. So for instance, this tree, I start with that, could go, oh, that was, yes, that was my very first tree. Let's start by making it come a little bit closer to its friends. So it's a bit away now, a little bit lonely looking. So I'll start. I'll let this go for 25 seconds, and then I click I for the first keyframe, which will be location, rotation, and scale. Oh, by the way, I'm not in the pose mode, I'm just in the object mode. Yeah, so that was, so maybe the basic movement is okay to do here, and then when I go to pose mode, I can move the actual bones. So let's go further in time, maybe here to frame 80, and move the tree closer to its friends. Like, hello. There it comes. And it's floating. So that's not such a good idea. So I'll make it go down. Right. But maybe it's a good idea to change also the first frame, so that it's a bit higher up. And why not make it jump a little bit while it goes? So it could jump here. Hoopla. And I could go to the animation mode and animation workspace, sorry. Change it. Oh, by the way, the camera view looks horrible. I have to change that at some point. So here we see it, and it doesn't have many, like, I mean, what I need to put here in the first keyframes is an easing out. And to the last keyframes, I need to have like an easing. Does it need an easing in? Actually, not necessarily, but it it would look better if there's some things happening with the parts of the tree, so with the bones, in other words. So let's go see it from the side. Yeah, it looks a bit stiff like this. So maybe if I go to the pose mode, and yeah, now in the animation workspace, I'm already in pose mode, which makes things easy. So I'll click on one of the bones here and make the first keyframe where nothing happens. So rotation is what I want. And when it's going this way, let's go a little bit closer to. I want to rotate this bone. It's jumping. And I didn't remember to make it into a keyframe. Rotation. And by now it should be already in the upper position. And I think here it's starting to go forward. And the forward movement still continues as the tree lands. I need to also change the upper bone. But first I'll do this. And now it goes back to where it was, like so. This is a bit fast here, so I would need to change the timing here. And also there could be some squash and stretch on the way. So that would go for the whole tree in the end. So that for that I would need this basic bone. When it hits the ground, it will be still the same shape. So let's make one keyframe for the scale there, and then go further here and make make the scale better and smaller, and I to make the keyframe. And now it seems that the mass is changing, which I have to change. So it needs to be even smaller in scale. And here it goes back to normal. Okay, so yeah, I said I'd end at 1/2 past. No, it's 10 minutes more than that. So it takes some time to do the actual animation, as you noticed, but now you know where to do it, and you also know enough of the principles of animation, of the stretch and squash and the timing and so on to do it. So you could have just simple uh, jumping up and down, or you could have like a jump from one place to another, or the trees could just slide from one place to another. So don't make it too difficult for yourself, the task. I mean, okay, so I'll stop sharing if there are no questions. So are there questions? I haven't been able to see the chat. Okay, so let's end here for now, this recording.